So, do you support the need for greater school choice, including charter schools, private education, homeschool, expanding tax credit opportunities, education savings plans, and other things that are out there?
Well, the short answer is yes, and I have supported almost all of those, and then I have sponsored many of those in the past under the McDonnell administration. We really had a approach that we were headed toward, which is let's make sure that children have access to all the options, and children learn differently. For instance, we had a big push for lab schools. That was where Liberty University or UVA or Lynchburg College or other colleges, William and Mary, could link up with a school and they could mentor back and forth. And that was a great plan. Of course, it was basically defunded by the current administration out there. We have charter schools in Virginia, but there are very few. As a matter of fact, we make charter schools very, very difficult in Virginia. And that is because the local school division that wants the monopoly, and I understand they want the monopoly, they're the ones that have to approve a charter school. Well, that's not the way it works in other areas. And as a result of that, we basically have very little charter schools. The idea of having vouchers or tax credits or that type of thing have been complicated in Virginia. There's a couple of words in the Constitution that were never meant to limit the capability of having funds not go to parents, but they've been used in that form. Unfortunately, we found ways around that in some ways, especially a certain type of a tax credit, which is not really a funding to school. It is a funding of a tax credit, has been somewhat successful in that area. You can have a refundable tax credit, which is a form of a voucher that comes out as well. I'd really like to see us put aside really all of the barriers we have around education, the idea that a monopoly is really the only way to work it, because kids that learn differently. When it came to some kids that have autism, I mean, these are wonderful, brilliant kids that can go on to do extraordinary things, but they learn differently. And being in a certain type of classroom is unbelievably distracting to them. But if we can get a different mechanism that is more of a hands-on education, that really does work. And I know that kids with dyslexia, for instance, their minds are thinking totally differently. Why are we trying to square peg and round hole? Those kids, they're kids that God loves and we love, and we need to make sure that that is available. So having a multitude of options available to kids, as long as our core goal is that we love children and we want to do what's best for them, we will have multitude of options. If we care more about government and more about public schools, we'll have a single option. So mine is more options, not fewer, is the way I'd like to see us go.